Episode 5 gets spicy when Dwight goes back to New York and tries to make amends with his family, but instead finds out secrets that involve his family and his mob family while he was away. Spoilers ahead, so watch out. Episode 5 begins with Dwight putting on some mad-looking crocodile-scaled belt and shoes. He does his tie and grabs his suitcase and walks off. He ends up in New York at a funeral home from his recently deceased brother. He attends the family gathering. His sister, Joanne, runs up to him and hugs him. She is excited to see him after 25 years and tells him, "Let's go pay respects to our brother." After they make a prayer for him, Dwight looks around and spots his daughter out. Tina is not happy and immediately gives him the cold shoulder. He walks out and joins his sister for a smoke. He asks her to tell him about his grandkids. It turns out that Dwight has 2 grandchildren that are twins. They are named Cody and Ryan. Back in Tulsa, 2 marshals are having lunch with a biker member. He nods his head and we once again see the boss of the biker gang sitting on his bike. The man then gives the cops a paper with information regarding Dwight and his crew. In the hotel at New York, Dwight gets a phone call from Chicky. Chicky tells him that he didn't ask permission to come back to New York. He also tells him that tomorrow he wants to see him at the hospital because his father isn't doing so well. In Tulsa, Tyson is bored and is just driving around. As he's driving, he gets pulled over and 2 cops get out of the car and go on each side. The cop asks for registration and as he goes to get it, he asks to see his hands. Tyson is confused and just gets the paper anyways. They play dirty and immediately arrest him on sight for suspicion. They do not have any body cams on and coincidentally find drugs in the car, making Tyson eligible for jail. He calls Dwight but he does not answer and is then forced to go into holding with many other people. He sits in the corner and just waits. In New York, Dwight goes to the family dinner and gives the waiter a nice amount of cash to keep the food and drinks flowing. Tina gives him a dirty as he says he wants everyone to introduce themselves to him as he has not met some of them. The first 2 are introduced as Stella and Denise. He then looks at his daughter's husband and says he remembers his name as Emery from the call a few days ago. He said he is a bit disappointed that Emery didn't ask his blessing to marry his daughter. Tina gets cut and starts being foul with her dad, saying that he can't just buy his way into the family. That Emery is more of a man than he will ever be. She gets up and leaves. At the hospital, the mobsters are playing cards. Dwight walks in and greets everyone. Vincent's missus has a bit of a sneeze attack, and Dwight, being a gentleman, gives her some tissues. Vincent once again loses it and stands up to Dwight, just barking off. Chicky tells him to calm down as they're in a hospital. He walks Dwight in the hallway and tells him to stop annoying Vincent and that his dad is sleeping and can't be seen now. Tyson is struggling in jail. He asks the 2 coppers if he can use the bathroom. They point to a drain in the middle of the room and he starts pleading. They run amok on him and tell him, "Give us the password to your phone and we'll let you out." He gives them the code and they let him out. Stacy is seen at the park answering a phone call. Dwight called her and says he wants to hear a familiar voice. She laughs and then goes to a serious tone and tells him that the bikers he smashed at the festival are more than what they seem. She tells him she wants to talk to him in person. Dwight gets another call from Tyson and answers. He talks to Tyson but no one responds and the call is ended. It seems the bikers called Dwight and when he spoke they ended it and bagged Bodie. Tyson is finally being released from prison. The guard gives him some items back and tells Tyson that the car is in an impound lot. Tyson asks for his phone and the guard said it was not listed. These cops were playing real dirty and Tyson knew it. Back at the ranch, Armand is going about his daily life when one of his workers starts laughing at what he'd done the previous night at the festival. He walks up to her and asks how she knew. She says her uncle is a sergeant at the biker club that he smashed up and that he was going to get revenge on the people who done it. Armand is very nervous as his name has already spread around Tulsa in a few days. Shit is getting serious as they unveil the bag from Bodie and put a knife to his neck. He looks scared as hell as he is a nobody without Dwight. The biker leader sits down and tells Bodie how is he involved with Dwight. Bodie becomes a snitch and rat. He says he is being extorted and he cannot do anything about it. The bikers want to send a message across to Dwight's crew and so go to the bar and walk Bodie in. The dirty coppers then tell Mitch, "Does this mutt belong to you?" They want to ask him questions to which he says no thanks. They threaten him and Mitch loses his shit and says,
"Get the fuck out of my joint."
Excuse me?
You want it in fucking sign language? And I suggest, since this establishment is situated on Cherokee land where you have absolutely no authority, that you get your fat, sorry fucking cottage cheese asses out of here.
Bodie puts his hands up and they uncuff him and walk out. Mitch walks Bodie in the back and asks what the hell happened. In New York, Dwight walks into his daughter's shop. He asks her is there any way to move past what happened. She says no. She is cut at him for leaving her and her mother with nothing. No credit card, no car, absolutely nothing. Dwight pretty much says he made sure that his old crew protected and provided for both her and her mother. Tina gets emotional and starts saying that worked out so well sarcastically. She starts talking about the man nicknamed the Package, and accidentally says,
Well, let's just say one Tuesday night, I learned the hard way why he's called.
She stops halfway and Dwight also realizes why the man is named the Package. She gets scared and Dwight tells her to finish the story. She refuses and makes him promise not to do anything. He agrees and just sits there, fuming with rage. He immediately goes to the hospital and walks to see if they were still playing cards. No one is there though. So instead he walks into Pete's room and sits next to his bed. He gives Pete a photo of his dead brother and tells him that family is everything. He asks if Pete knew. Pete looks at him confused. Dwight asks again, but this time he gets up with rage.
What the fuck?
Dwight tells him that he was supposed to protect his family. That he promised to be there for them, but instead he sent someone else. He walks out of the hospital with the devil in his eyes. He makes his way to where the boys were playing cards. He sees the Package and smacks him with a crowbar. He breaks the TV, kicks the man, punches him, then puts his face onto the stove. An excruciating pain, he slams his head through a table, then ties a rope around his neck. He drags him across the floor and Chicky tells him, "Where are you going?" He looks at the boys, then stomps his boot into the Package's face, then stomps again, killing him. He then walks out in fury. If you want to watch the remaining episodes, give me a like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, make sure to hit the dislike button twice. Good day, until next time.